welcome to Cruising with Kayfabe. I'm Mongo.
I'm Emily, and today we're joined by the infamous Jeff and Rachel.
Hello.
Hello. How we all doing?
Doing good. Hope you guys had a safe and happy New Year, as well as a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. In just a few weeks, we get to reunite, like the Peaches song says.
Oh, can't wait.
I know. I'm excited.
Hope you guys had a good holidays and New Year's as well.
Definitely.
Ours was pretty fun. Hung out a little bit, just partied a little bit, had a good time. So
it's always the way to do it. Got my Outrunners merch, and she got her new hoodie. I see Rachel's wearing a new hoodie too, so we all got excited. I got my best award show gear on for tonight.
There you go.
I just got work shirt on right now, so
You got a rep.
You were responsible. I'm not the responsible adult. You were. That's why Smokey's like my older brother. He's the responsible one.
Yes.
Yeah, something like that.
What a year for wrestling in 2024. It's crazy to think we're already in 2025, but what a year in wrestling, from the debuts, the returns, the crazy storylines, the matches. I mean, it was hard to make this list at first because there was so much good wrestling this year.
Swerve's house burned down.
I know.
What?
Yes.
And then the savagery of AEW.
And then you had the NXT partnership start up with TNA. You had Joe Hendry appear in NXT. You had him taking over.
Well, and think about last year when we were on the cruise and we all saw Jordan Grace come out at the Rumble. That shit was pretty awesome.
You got the Cruise Rub, help with some of the categories on here. I feel like the Cruise Rub kind of helped out. I feel like new stars are always born on the cruise. Excited this year to see who kind of gets that cruise magic this year.
Pretty stacked lineup so far. Been pretty impressed with what they've thrown out there. Not that I've never been, but I always have a great time. And I always tell her I kind of have my, I don't like to say the word jobber per se, but I kind of have my lower card talent shirts, and I like to wear shit like that. Peter Avalon, pretty Peter Avalon shirt's probably going to make a return. I know Luther's is going to be out, so I don't know. I might bust somebody else out. We'll see. Maybe a Danhausen or somebody.
That's always the hardest part, is what to pack for the cruise, because you just want to wear every shirt. Be like, realistically, do I bring 17 wrestling shirts and rotate them out all day, or do I stick with the core 4, or how do I do this?
I tried to bring the core shirts last year and I ran out. So this year I'm bringing a lot. Not a lot, but at least 2 a day. Because I really messed up last year not having enough clothes. I'm
well, no, that's where you need to be. Well, no, that's where you need to be, is almost 2 a day.
Yeah.
So because we're going Wednesday. We'll be there the day ahead of you guys coming in, and I think
I'm allowed 13 shirts.
Yeah, 13 shirts, 7 days. Not quite, We'll be wearing clean clothes there too. So, because it's cold here, so we'll have sweatshirt and pants and all that on.
And Matt thinks it might be the best lineup since 1. I think the best lineup since 2 as well, because that was a TV taping. But it's hard because,
since 2,
Jeff said, I haven't really seen a bad lineup. I know some people complain about top, but I'm like him. I like the mid to lower card, because those are the ones who mingle and they want to learn you, and those are the ones you get those fun stories with. We'll go right to our first category of the year, male breakout star of the year. We all saw the breakout stars potentially on the cruise this year. We saw at least 2 of them, and the fans agreed. So we'll ask Rachel first, and then Jeff, then we'll go Emily and me. Who do you guys think wins, male breakout or breakout star? So again, plural if it's a tag team, or singular if you think it's one particular person.
Do you want to list everybody, or do you want to wait?
So we have I put in, again, you can add in someone if it's not on the list. We have the Outrunners, Kyle Fletcher, Oba Femi, the Beast Mordos, Carmelo Hayes, Daniel Garcia, Braun Breaker, Jay Uso, and Takeshita.
What'd you think, Rachel?
Right there, I found it. I had to get through it. I thought that the Outrunners was the one that I liked. Because they had wrestled before, so it's always nice to see somebody come back into wrestling. Plus, I kind of like their gear. It is the style that I was in. So, yeah, but I like the Outrunners.
Obviously, I'd love to say the Outrunners because of my bias for them. But they did have a killer year, but I don't think it was the whole year and everything like that. So I went to Keshta because I thought he had a pretty awesome 2024. And I thought he really stepped up the game and got put in some big moments. And in my opinion, did very well.
I just got thrown a curve the first few minutes in the show. I did not expect Jeff to go to catch it over the Outrunners. I'm kind of shook on that one, but it's definitely good.
I had to because, like I said, like I said, the Outrunners definitely biased, but just felt like he had a better year. I mean, he's been traveling the world representing, championships and getting in tournaments and doing everything and doing very well everywhere. So for me, that's Breakout. So that's why I'm going to go with Takeshita.
I like it. What about you?
That's why I went with Kyle Fletcher.
Oh,
I thought that
great pick too.
Killed it this year. He's completely changed his whole image. He's like just everything about Kyle Fletcher right now screams star. He is up and coming, and I don't think it's going to stop. I think he's been on top with AEW since he beat Will Ospreay. I think that they did that to show that he is a contender.
Okay.
The first time he beat Will.
So before I pick, I'll just let you guys know. So number 3 was Takeshita with fan votes. That one got 11% of the votes. With 29.9% of the votes was Kyle Fletcher. And number 1 by the fans with 34% of the votes was the Outrunners.
Love it.
And I went back and forth between Fletcher and the Outrunners, but I think I got to give it to the Outrunners only because on the cruise, I feel like Jeff was the only one who rocked their merch and knew them. After the cruise, I feel like they got that small group of fans that were behind them. And then Collision happened. I just feel like their pops got louder and louder every week. Their presentation got better every week. They started winning matches. So I kind of feel like they got that next gear kicked in. And I heard through the grapevine that the Bucks actually wanted to drop the titles to them at one point, and that was originally the plans before Private Party did. So sounds like they could have some gold in their future after their rookie years completed. So I think I got to go with the Outrunners, but I think those are all good choices. And again, those were the top 3. So Kyle Fletcher, Outrunners, and Takeshita. I definitely got the solid top 3. All 3 groups, individuals had standout years, and I'm looking forward to seeing where they all go in 2025. Because like you said, Takeshita, he just wrestled DDT Pro last night. Tomorrow morning at 3 a.m. our time, 2 a.m. your time, he's going to be wrestling at Wrestle Kingdom, and then he's going to wrestle again at Wrestle Dynasty with that international title. So, and he might have 2 more belts when he comes back. So that's pretty freaking impressive too. So
yeah, well, and those were my top 3 people that I had
out
of the list. So it pretty much whatever order you want to put them in, but.
All right, and then we have, I would go Takeshita too. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world. He found a new audience in the U.S. and he had longer matches this year. They have a great plan for him. I think they definitely have a great plan for Takeshita this year.
He's a good wrestler.
He's going to have a good 2025 too.
So we just did male breakout star. And the way I like to do these awards, I like to separate male and female because I kind of feel like males will always get the votes over the females. So that's why this is kind of a split list. There's males and females. So we had the male breakout star. So now we have the female breakout stars of the year. And the nominees we have for that are Anna Jay, Tiffany Stratton, Laya Valkyria, Mariah May, Jada Parker, Mina Shirakawa, Chelsea Green, Kalani Jordan, and that was it. So I'm going to ask you, Rachel, who do you think was the female breakout star of 2024?
I had Anna Jay. I thought she did a really good job because you really haven't seen her come out. She's only wrestled a couple of times.
She went to Japan there for a little while.
But she came out and she's winning and she's doing a great job. So I had Anna Jay down.
I like it. Anna Jay is a solid pick. I think she had a fantastic year, and like Jeff said, she went to Stardom and killed it.
Yep.
I went a little different route, but I do agree that she did have a great year. But I'm going to go with either Mariah May or, for my other side, I was looking either Tiffy Time or Sol Ruka.
Oh, Sol Ruka is a solid choice.
She's been killing it over there. I don't watch the product quite as much, but I've seen quite a bit of her stuff, just seeing highlights and different things. And, I do watch some of the pay-per-views and stuff still pretty much regularly, but, I thought that'd be kind of my kind of 3, but I'm going to go Mariah May as my overall.
I like it.
I'll put that one.
She was mean. She turned on Tony.
I love it.
She didn't get my vote.
That's part of the point. She'll be on the cruise too.
I think I know who Emily's got, but I'm going to ask you, who was breakout star of the year for you for female?
So this one was kind of hard for me because I wanted to pick Chelsea Green, but I feel like she wasn't a breakout star. I feel like she was already a star, maybe in just my eyes. But
No, I thought she was a star. We went and saw her. We actually got to see her in NWA one of the times early
I
on.
love that.
When oh god dang it, Mickey James did her female show.
I was going to
that's
ask
right,
if it
Empower.
was that show.
That was the night before. We went to the night after.
The ladies'
So-
night out. Yep,
So
that's awesome.
So as much as I wanted my Divas champion to be my breakout star, again, I just felt like she was already there. Mariah May also felt like she was already not necessarily established with the fans in 2023, but I thought that her stardom run should have counted a little more, I guess. I'm biased, I know.
Well, no, I'm kind of her
that's
2024
all right.
run. It was pretty much all AEW. That's why I was thinking
Yeah.
2024.
So I believe I actually did pick Mina. I think Mina really
Ooh.
came through and showed us what she got. I want to see her take that title from Mercedes. I am all about Mina.
Okay.
I
Somebody
like
needs
Mina
to.
Shirakawa.
Great.
I like her. Yeah,
Her and
I
Harley
like her. She's
Cameron
pretty good.
really came through. This
Harley's
year
had
for
a
me.
good one too.
Yep.
I was going to say, so yeah, so this one actually we had a really close. It was almost tied for third. So fourth place was Anna Jay with 9% of the votes. Third place was Chelsea Green with
Ooh.
11%. Second place, it's Tiffy time, was Tiffany Stratton. And then the overall winner with 43% of the votes was Mariah May. So, and I also thought Mariah May only because I thought when she first came to AEW, you were like, oh, okay, she's another signing. And they put her right with Toni Storm, and that storyline, I think and then she showed she could wrestle, and then seeing her come out and do that shtick, and then seeing her heel turn, just how she did it so well.
A
And then
literal heel
and then-
turn.
again with Mina
Yes,
and just
Yes.
and brutal too at times.
and then to go back with Anna Jay, like her match with Anna Jay, like every match she hasn't really had a bad match. And I feel like you take her seriously now. Even if she loses the title, she's still gonna always be in world title picture, and she's established herself. So I chose Mariah May, but I was really, really leaning on Anna Jay as my second. I agree with what Rachel was saying. Her going to Stardom, and then Will Ospreay came out and was talking about how Anna Jay moves different in the ring now. Her footwork is better. She hits harder. She looks like she's actually leaning into things, and she's really improved herself. And I feel like if you have Will Ospreay saying that after a trip in Japan, you did something well enough to get noticed. And I think, she's definitely worthy of too. And Chelsea Green, again, had a great year. That's what's hard. It's really hard to just say one person because, like you were saying earlier, Jeff, there's so many people that just really woke up in 2024 and they took their spots, and it's awesome to see.
I
And
agree.
you got to see so many future people at NWA. I was just thinking about when you were saying that earlier, you had Chelsea, you had the Outrunners. You saw Thunder Rosa back in the day.
We just missed when they came finally back for Wrestling at the Chase. We just missed Ricky Starks and Thunder Rosa.
So you saw
I had
Carmella,
actually,
right?
yes, a couple times, but I had been watching the product already beforehand, and I'd already seen some of them, and I was actually fans of theirs when they were on NWA.
And then now if people want to tune in NWA, someone should walk out. Kenzie Page is someone to keep an eye on in NWA.
She won the belt. She won the belt at the show we were at, so it was awesome, man.
I think she's going to be the next one to get a contract this year. I think she's someone that's going to go to WWE, NXT, or she's got something special. I'll just say that she's got something special.
Well, like I said, we saw that match, and she did well. I mean, she worked well.
And then the lady who's on the cruise, I can never remember her name. The one you
Natalie?
Natalie Markova, is that you?
Oh, okay. Natalia Markova or whatever
Natalia
from
Markova.
NWA.
Hell yeah.
She's pretty badass too. She's came a long way, just kind of being that pretty face and boobs to actually being a legit worker in the ring.
I love her boots with the fur.
We've seen it several times. Well, 'cause she's been at the shows too.
I've seen her
All
wrestle.
three of the NWA ones we went to, she was at every one of them. So we got quite a sample size, of a 3-year stretch, and then getting to see her now too. So
Who's the one with Mercedes Monet?
Camille.
Yep.
Yeah, we saw her
too.
too.
She won.
And that's kind of like what I love watching these, like, TNA, NXT, whenever you can even catch highlights, like you were saying earlier, just because you can see, like, oh, that person's going to be something. I don't get to catch NWA regularly, but I watched some highlights, and after I saw the cruise down, and I went and watched some of her matches, I'm like, okay, so she can work in the ring, and she is kind of like a Tiffany Stratton, where she knows she's good looking, but she uses it to like her deadly vixen vibe, and You said boots with the fur. I could think it was that Nelly song, like boots with the fur.
Yep. She's always had those.
I love the gimmick too. I think Emily would really enjoy if she watched a little because she loves the.
I
Tiffany
did watch
Stratton
a couple
and
matches, and it does give me the great like.
You like the glitz and the glam.
I love like the diva without the diva.
Diva,
Like I don't want to see a bra and panties match, but I want to see the divas being all cutesy. Like again, Chelsea
the total
Green.
package.
Like
Yeah.
I want to see everything, like what we had Trish Stratus doing.
All right, this next one will be a little bit difficult because again, it's spread across multiple promotions. But biggest debut of the year. So this one we have Jacob Fatu in WWE, Okada, Mercedes Moné in AEW, Ethan Page in NXT, Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin in MVP in AEW, Jordan Grace at the Rumble. So those are the and Joe Hendry NXT. Sorry, that skipped on the line. But so those are the biggest debuts of the year. And again, if one is on there you didn't want, you can put it on there. But so this is what if you get someone debuting for a company they hadn't worked for previously under contract.
Okay.
Okay, so my pick was Okada. I can remember whenever he came out. I mean, you immediately like heard the background noise, the coins dropping or whatever. So I picked Okada. Plus, he came out and he's doing really good fighting. Like he's winning matches and everything. So that was my pick. I know.
We got to see him wrestle a Dynasty against Pac, and that was a badass match. Because, like I said, we rewatched the highlights of it, and I was like, "Damn, I forgot how good of a match that was." They really went after it. So
they definitely did.
But yeah, so my biggest debut, I'm going way back to the beginning of the year-ish to when we were on the cruise ship, and I'm going to Jordan Grace debuting at the Rumble.
It's a solid choice. I like that one. Only because I didn't see it coming too. I agree with you.
Yes, and then my second is Nemeth to TNA. I actually thought he might go elsewhere.
I thought he would too. I thought the Wanted Man was going to show up somewhere else.
Yep. So those would be mine. But yeah, my top is Jordan Grace at the Rumble.
I like it. Yeah. And I agree with Matt, just like what he said. I didn't believe it till I saw it. We watched it at the airport next day. Like, oh, damn, she really did show up at the Rumble.
Yeah. Well, I got lucky and got to see it sitting there, luckily. And I was like, holy shit, what the fuck? Like,
I know. I was like, I'm like, look at the ring. There's nothing going on. I'm like, what is Jeff yelling at? Oh, the laptop.
Yeah.
Thankfully, that couple that was sitting near us had that going because we were able to see everything.
Yeah, I know. Because I was like, hey, I promise I'm not trying to invade your space. It's just I might be looking over your shoulder every once in a while.
We're like this. We're like, no.
Holy shit! What?
Oh my god! Wait, what's that in the ring? Oh my god!
Right. Oh boy. So who's your biggest debut, M, for biggest debut?
So I have to ask, was Nick Nemeth on any other?
He debuted for TNA.
No, was he on any other poll?
No.
Okay, so he is. That is the one I picked for Nick. 100%. I was like, dang, it happened. Like this is where he went. I was kind of disappointed, but really happy for him. And I just was really excited that he didn't stop. He landed somewhere bigger. He didn't,
I wouldn't say bigger.
No, I mean,
knew he could help
bigger than the
though.
Independents.
Like you said, I had that slight disappointment when he went, but I really liked it for him because I knew he could be a star there for rather quickly, and he would help elevate a lot of guys.
Yeah, I think it's really benefited everything.
Yeah.
So it's funny too because I thought I had this too, but this one was a split one. Second and third place are only divided by 0.9, so 0.9, not even a full point. So third place was Mercedes Moné in AEW, which I was kind of shocked because I kind of feel like that was a given all year.
Yeah, I agree.
Jacob Fatu is second place in WWE.
Wow, I kind of knew that one. I thought too.
I thought that was also a given just because he's part of the bloodline. And Okada was number one from the fan voting.
Oh wow, nice.
That point drop really did elevate everything. When you heard that, it was like, whoa.
Yep. And I think too, I had Nick Nemeth in TNA, but I also had Okada, and I was kind of flipped. So I also had Nick Nemeth in TNA because I didn't see it coming.
Yep.
But I had Okada just because I fell into the dirt sheets, and I was like, oh, I guess he's probably not coming. It sounds like he really wants to have his Mania moment. And then just hearing the coin drop, it was like, okay. And then, like you said, seeing him wrestle at Dynasty, and seeing him even wrestle, even when he wrestled weekly, yet like he wasn't going full bore weekly, but he was still Okada. In his new character evolution,
bitch.
like it just his mannerisms, and seeing that new side of Okada, I really enjoy it. So I think to me that's why, because that's one thing I don't think a lot of people give these older wrestlers credit for. I'm not saying he's that old, but they're reinventing themselves. Something that worked for so long. He's like, I'm going to flip this. I'm going to go more I got the money. I'm the cocky heel. But then when his back since was like, oh shit, I got to wrestle now. And he pulls out 5-star Okada in the ring.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Okada isn't this one yet, but I don't think we've seen his best yet. I think World's End was a teaser of what he's capable of. Both Mercedes are obvious. Okada going W is pretty much a given in my opinion. Yeah, I think Okada was a given.
I think so too. His relationship with the Bucks and all that.
Well, how long did Mercedes go without even fighting?
Well, she was hurt.
Oh yeah, she was hurt for I think she was hurt for about a year and a half.
No, I thought it was only like 9 months.
No, it was like a year and a half because she said he almost retired. Yeah, it was a while.
She was on programming still while she was hurt for part of that too.
Yeah, I think she was like finishing up and healing, but yeah, she like shattered. Her and Adam Cole didn't have good. Like everyone's like, oh, they just broke their ankle, but they shattered their ankles.
Yes, severely fucked them up.
Emily's new favorite right there. All right, so now we go from biggest debut of the year to biggest return of the year. So this is someone who
easy one for me.
They worked in the company and they either came back from injury or they came back from vacation. So the nominees are Roman Reigns, Nigel McGuinness, Daniel Garcia, the Wyatt Six, Adam Copeland, Kenny Omega, The Rock, or MJF. So those were like the biggest ones that ESPN had out. So I kind of went with their list, and I agree with their list. So, Rachel, who do you think? What was the biggest return of 2024?
I think I actually had two. My first one was Adam Copeland, Edge coming back out, because you would have never, ever expected that at all. But then, because he's a returning one, but then whenever MJF came out too, because we didn't know if he was going to return. We didn't know when. We hadn't heard anything, nothing like that. And he came out with like a whole new, scarf on and, a different look and everything. So, but that's who I picked. I picked two. So, because I can do that.
I like it.
Oh, well, Matt's on it right there. That's where I'm going. Yep, that's exactly it right there. Nigel motherfucking McGuinness. Because I never thought I was going to see that.
Nope.
So
you're 100% right. I have to ask, how did you react when his music hit and you just saw him at the top of the ramp?
I was just like, I just said holy, because she didn't know at first. You know what I mean? Because she didn't know, and I heard the music. I'm like, holy shit, no fucking way. And it was like, wow. And I felt happy for the guy. You know what I mean? Because then it was like, oh man, this might actually happen. Him and Brian to get some closure and just to kind of close, just to kind of help the dude be able to move forward with that. He just needed that one little thing,
I was like, yes, it's happening. He's going to get Brian. I can't wait.
Magic.
I was so excited.
Yes.
All that whole episode that we covered on Nigel and Brian, I just was like, this is so exciting to see Nigel come out. That was one of mine. I'm going to be like Rachel and pick two. Garcia, not knowing if he was signing with WWE and him coming back at All In. I think that was a really big deal as far as him betting on himself and just holy shit. Like the MJF reaction, that was my Garcia because I just love him so much.
Do the dance.
Do the dance.
He doesn't very much anymore.
No.
So
he's trying to get out of it.
Yep, that's why I tell her.
Oops, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was saying surprising top three here. 3 is Adam Copeland. 2 is Kenny Omega from World's End. But number 1 is the person I chose with 42%, so almost half the vote. Nigel McGuinness returning All In was the number 1 return of the year. And I agree. When I heard Fucking in the Bushes by Oasis, I was like, wait a minute. Like it takes your brain a second to register. And you're like, wait a minute. Oh my God. And she was
and
like,
his name popped up. And then you were like, it is.
So I was like,
She was looking at me. I'm like, it's fucking Nigel. Like, I think the words that came out were my Nigel.
Fucking Nigel. Holy shit.
And then I was like, and then for you nights the next day. So thank you, Nigel McGuinness. You brought Oasis back together because Noah and Liam got back together after he played. I just want to point that out. The world's healing. And then he's going to be on the cruise doing a magic show. So like I'm marking out even more because I've loved Nigel. And like you said, Jeff, we finally got the last match, Brian got him one more time at Grand Slam. And then even him showing up a Ring of Honor for the Tiger Style Open Challenge. Like it's great to see. It is great to see Nigel come back, still wrestle, knowing that he doesn't have to wrestle full time anymore. He can go out and still perform, and he gets to end the career the way he wants to now. And I think as a wrestling fan, especially when you see the performer get to end their career the way they want to instead of having it yanked away.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yep.
So I thought I was biased on that one, but when I saw like 42%, I'm like, yes, everyone's agreeing Nigel, because
I was kind of worried too. I gotta be
I
honest.
really
I was
thought
kind of
Roman
worried.
would take it because everyone loves Roman. I really thought him come back at SummerSlam, but I'm like, I think that was
How
such
many
a
times
given.
has he came back?
Well,
Then
this
that's kind of my thoughts. Like he returns and comes back every few months.
I know.
Even
Like,
as a
eh.
champion, he did.
Wow, so this one's
Yeah.
pretty split, but this will be a good one. So the biggest news of 2024. So AEW streaming deal on Max and new TV deal. Raw going to Netflix, SmackDown going to USA and 3 hours. Vince McMahon resigns once again. AEW going to Australia. WWE SummerSlam going 2 nights. The WWE ID program. NXT and TNA partnership. And the announcement of Wrestle Dream and Wrestle Dynasty.
So I picked the Vince McMahon one only because his scandal is serious. Like this has been going on for a minute and you guys just now figured it out.
Right.
So plus he also had some wrestlers with him too that I was like, oh my God. And who defecates on somebody? But my
That's
whole
the
Vince
takeaway for me as well, Rachel. I'm sorry. That is, I don't want to like go on a tangent about this, but that is the biggest thing for me. Like,
yes, yeah. So that's who I picked, Vince
What a
McMahon.
shitty situation.
Yes.
sorry.
Mine are going to be the AEW to Max and WWE to Netflix
I do like WWE to Netflix.
because I like the Max because it's new and we finally
right. I
get
remember
it. And
sitting there. We were all at the pool deck, and Matt's putting his phone out. We were all at the pool
Yes,
deck.
we were.
100% right. We're reading about the Vince scandal.
We were all passing that around. We were like, oh my God, no way. This could have been the best timing. All of us wrestling fans here together.
And what were you saying about Max? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, you're good. No, I was just saying the AEW to Max just because AEW is finally getting that actual streaming platform and just instead of kind of being piggybacked a little bit and having some stuff, whatever. Then the WWE to Netflix just because, I mean, I don't know exactly what's all happening with that, but that's got to be huge because I mean Peacock had everything on there.
Oh, Pico.
You know what I mean? So I don't know if that's now all going to Netflix or like what?
I know
Because
that
that's
the international stuff's going to Netflix, and then Raw from Peacock. So it's kind of confusing, but yeah, I think a big chunk of their library is going to Netflix, which is huge for Netflix and their subscribers.
Yeah, because I actually kind of put holds on a few of my streaming platforms just for that reason to figure out.
Oh, I hope they don't up their prices.
They did.
Oh yeah, no, everyone's upping their price. Unfortunately, that's why we ended up changing ours to like the Disney Plus bundle, where it was like Disney, Hulu, and Max for $30.
Yep.
But we very much utilize Disney and Max, so that works out perfect for us.
Yeah.
And then obviously we have Netflix as well, but Stranger Things eventually will come back.
When they're all in college.
Yeah.
So what do you have for biggest news of the year?
So I believe, sorry, I have to see the list again. I picked Wrestle Dynasty and Wrestle Kingdom because I think that all of the companies coming together, Forbidden Door was a big enough deal. The fact that Wrestle Dynasty is happening and you're seeing multiple promotions coming together with both of those pay-per-views, and like the amount of wrestling fans that are changing their bedtime this weekend to watch those says everything.
She means me. She means me. Because she has watching it with me.
I would. Super like I'm not annoyed I have to work. I love work, but
Yeah, we all love work.
Those types of Stranger Things. So the number 3 answer was Raw goes to Netflix. The number 2 was Vince McMahon and the scandal, and number 1 was AEW on Max and TV deal.
Nice.
I think I also had two. My number one was AEW on Max, but also Raw on Netflix because, like Jeff said, it was huge for wrestling fans because I guess growing up and watching WCW channel flipping, having to tape it and having to rent the tapes, now being spoiled, they don't even have their fucking cable anymore to watch wrestling. And like Vesper said here, and we were talking about earlier, it was so Dynamite was so crisp on it was 4K. Going back, Cam's watching all the old Dynamites that we missed again. Well, not missed, but maybe he doesn't remember.
Okay, so Cam put on Full Gear, and I was like, oh, I don't know if he actually saw this match. And he's
Moxley
like, oh my
versus
God,
Omega.
I haven't seen this match. And I was like, so that match right there, when I think of Kenny Omega, aside from his face being in between a table, I think of the barbed wire trampoline thing. Like when I think of Kenny Omega and John Moxley, it's the casino chips.
And then the barbed wire.
And that barbed wire, that thing was nasty. Like, like having to get out of that, everything about that. And then they continue to match. Like, are you joking?
No, and I think that showed, what's great about Max is I know a lot of people who, even in our comment section about the major group, a couple of friends who I've talked to who are like, I've been wanting to watch AEW, I just don't have cable. Now they're going back and they're rewatching 2019. They're like, oh wow, I didn't realize Cody did this much in AEW. Oh, I didn't realize this person was in AEW. I've seen him on the indies. And it's like, and that's what was great. And now same thing with, Netflix, you can go back and watch some of the old Raws and in your houses. And like Matt said, you can watch all this different content. It's nice to have it at your fingertips versus, well, I guess I can pay $50 to watch a pay-per-view that might kind of suck, but now you can I can watch it on streaming.
And to think, if they're enjoying Cody in AEW, maybe they'll go watch him in Ring of Honor.
I know, especially if they want to see a good run. Yeah, definitely watch his 2016, 2017, 2018 run. Like when he tried to take over the Bullet Club with him and Kenny, a super underrated feud. We
were going. Well, I was going to Ring of Honor at that time. For that, I got to see Cody with the Bucks.
I know. I going to NOLA, seeing him and Kenny and Cody fight. I was like, I love Cody, but I can never choose against Kenny whatsoever. So Vesper got a new fan in the Max, and he loves it. And I think that's what it is. It's going to get those fans who will see it on Max, like, oh, I'll check it out. I can fast forward through the boring stuff. Not saying there is, but I mean, you can fast forward through filler if you're like, I don't really care about the promo. I just want to see how good this, Okada is everyone's talking about, or how good this Ospreay kid is everyone's talking about.
Well, and Max having access to a lot of their clips and footage, though, they can also do a lot of cut ups and put together clips for that to throw some exciting stuff on their show. I mean, there's quite a bit.
And I believe All Access is on there as well. So if you want the behind the scenes before Cody left, they have the behind the scenes with Cody there as well. And I only throw Cody out.
Cody.
Oh, it wasn't? Oh,
JK. Season 1's on there, I think I saw.
Yeah, that was one where
for us in Illinois at least.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think that was the one when right after Brawl Out and the Bucks were coming back from suspension.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So still behind the scenes, it's like Total Divas meets reality TV.
You're thinking of Rose to the Top with Cody, by the way. I think that's what you're thinking of.
Oh, that is right.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Thank you, Brandy.
Well, now I think one of my favorite categories, and this one had a lot of split voting, but it finally kind of evened out. The holy shit moment of the year, and there was a lot to choose from. So the first one, Darby Allin swantoning through the glass at Revolution, Jack Perry being set on fire at Double or Nothing, Hangman burning down Swerve's house, Nigel returning to the ring, the New Day turning on Big E, Mariah May bludgeons Tony Storm, Bryan Danielson wins the AEW title All In, and the Wyatt Six take everyone out in Gorilla.
So I have two again. So my first one would be Bryan Danielson wins the AEW title. We were there, so we got to see it. No, we weren't there. Never mind. So, but anyways,
I know what you mean.
Yes. Yep. And everybody in the stands, whenever it was him, they were all doing this, everybody was. So it was really good. Plus he deserves it. I mean, he's been wrestling hard. So that one. And then I also had when Hangman burns down Swerve's house. Yes, that I was like, holy shit! Like, and I'm sure it really wasn't his house, but still, like, who does that? That's like psycho stuff.
And just sipping whiskey casually while it's burning down in the
I
background.
know. Like it's nothing. Like, hey, what's up? Yeah.
Well, and I saw, speaking of that too, because it's hilarious. I'm sure you guys saw it on, what was it, on YouTube or Max or whatever. Max, the Hangman there, and then he'd sit there and drink.
We put it on for a little bit on Christmas to open gifts.
I put it on for a little bit too, the one day too, just because I was like, everybody'd seen it, so I'm like, we're gonna put it on.
That's
Then
what
he takes a
we
break.
do. Like it's been trending. I'm gonna put it on just to have the little U log
Yeah.
We really
Well-
usually do that. We usually put on like a fireplace and Christmas music, and we're like,
We do too.
Hangman.
going.
We did it too, but I was like timing it up because I'm like, what does he take? Like 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and then he does his little 3 drink real quick thing, and then it goes again.
I love it.
So, all right. Well, Rachel and I kind of agree on something a little bit. I have Bryan Danielson winning the championship, and then my other one's Nigel. There might be other things, but that was a big one. So,
I like it. I like it. All right. What about you, Em? What do you have for your holy shit moment?
First one was Nigel for sure, and also Darby Allin at Revolution, like across.
That was a hard
from
one.
us,
Yep.
I was just
getting
gonna say they
to
were
see
there.
him up on that ladder, and then all of a sudden you just hear a crash, and you have to look at the TV from where we were sitting because like you couldn't see the table
Mhm.
of glass. So we're like, oh my god, he just went through a whole thing of glass. Like, oh my god, it was just shock factor. Like,
Yeah, because despite popular opinion, we were sitting on the hard cam side, so we kind of had an obstructed view because they were at the corner.
Oh yeah.
So
when we got
we
home,
could
we
see-
watched it.
We could see the chairs set up, and I thought he was going through the chairs. And then I remember I was taking a picture of it, and I could see the shards of glass. I'm like, that's fucking glass. And I looked up at the Jumbotron, and they replayed it. I'm like, that's a lot of
shit.
fucking glass.
He really got hurt. Like he really cut himself.
Oh yeah.
He sashimi'd his
Stitches.
back. It was destroyed. That thing was.
Yeah.
I don't know how he even walked out of that arena without getting
Like
stitches.
part of me is like annoyed at, I believe it was Matt, for like moving. Like, why didn't you just take the bump? That poor kid did that for nothing.
No,
But the other
it's
part of me
safer
was
to him
like,
the way he did
oh,
it.
he couldn't have taken that. Like,
They would, yeah,
I
he would,
flip flopped it. I was like, oh, what the hell? Why'd you let him take the whole thing? And then I was like, wait,
because she
you
was yelling
couldn't
at me
do
on the way
that.
home about that. She's like, "Why didn't Matt just take that?" I'm like, "Because Matt would have been pin cushioned." And she goes,
Yeah, he
"Oh,
would have,
okay."
because it would all.
It was
Logistics had to set in because I was like,
her
what
dopamine.
the
Her
hell?
dopamine was still going because we were trying to get a chair from someone, and everyone thought I was being creepy because like, yo,
He's
can
like, do you want that chair? And they like
No,
grabbed their
no.
chair and
I didn't
ran.
even say it. That I said, "Can I buy your chair?" And people like took it and ran like I was trying to mug them. Like, what mugger says, "Can I buy your chair?" Like, I'm offering you $200 cash to buy your chair. I'm like, "Hey, can I buy your chair for a few $100?" And the guy grabbed it and ran like I was trying to take his purse. I'm like, "Okay."
I guess that means no.
Yeah, yeah. It's a hard no.
Faster than an old lady at a grocery store parking lot.
I was just like, "Alrighty, okay." And then I asked someone else, and he just looked at me. He had 4 chairs, and he was struggling. And I was like, I only need one of those. You'll have $200 and one less free. You'll have one free hand. And he just looked at me and walked away. I'm like, or not.
Damn.
We tried.
Yeah, but that's.
Wow.
I think my holy shit moments too kind of line up with the fans' choices, but there's a tie for third place. Mariah May bludgeons Tony, and Nigel McGuinness returning in the ring. Second place is Darby Allin going through the glass, and first place is Hangman burning down Swerve's house.
Whoa.
But I think my first is still Bryan Danielson winning it all in, and my second's probably Nigel. And I love Swerves. I love the angle, but I didn't think Bryan was going to win. I thought he was going to retire it all in. I thought Swerve was going to retire Bryan. I thought it was going to be this big, dramatic, emotional, because, I mean, they did the final countdown. They teased the hell of it like he was all done. He wore his retirement shirt at the Dynamite in Cardiff the night before. I was like, oh, he's teasing this retirement. It's happening. He's really hurt. And then that 3 count happens. You're like, he's a champion in wrestling again. Like, he's a champion. He's sticking around. He's going to fight. This is amazing. So I think because we don't get that a lot in wrestling, or we didn't, where you don't get the payoff. Everything was always teased and yanked away from you for years and years. So to finally get those they tease you and go, okay, go. And you're like, oh, thank you. Like it's nice to be rewarded for paying attention and watching versus no, I know you like Daniel Bryan. Sorry, we're putting him on the mid card to job out to Sheamus in 30 seconds. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I was surprised, and then a couple other votes too that were kind of interesting. Someone wrote in the Wyatt 6. I agree with that. I thought the Wyatt 6 was a little over the top. I think it was cool. I don't think it was a holy shit moment, but I thought that was definitely a cool debut.
Over the top. Did you not say John fucking Moxley?
Yeah, the bag.
I'm still not over that.
But speaking of over, this one I know. I think we're gonna have different opinions because I think we're all four of us have biases on this one. Pay-per-view of the year. So
that was really hard.
Yeah.
Pay-per-view of the year we have nominees: Revolution, Royal Rumble, Wrestle Kingdom 19, Backlash 2024, Dynasty 2024, All In 2024, All Out 2024, and WrestleMania 40. And I only put WrestleMania 40 as a whole because I know I don't like the whole split night things. It's still just WrestleMania 40.
Correct. I agree with that.
So
okay, again, I have two. So my very first pick was WrestleMania because it was 2 nights, and I thought that was really cool that it finally went there. But I also like Dynasty because we were there. Do you remember that? And it was a really cool show because Will Ospreay ended up fighting
Bryan Danielson.
Yep. Which was a really good match.
That was when he retired the Tiger Driver.
Yep. So that would have been, my top one because we were there and we got to see it live.
Won the title that night.
Yes, he did. See how I forget?
He's forgetting stuff. Willow won the title.
Yeah. So we got a lot of title matches.
The Okada versus Pac. That one was good. Yeah. That was a real good match.
So that's my number one.
And you know what? It was a damn good show. Because I looked up and down, I couldn't find a weak card to say that wasn't deserving on the AEW side. Not to sound biased, maybe Double or Nothing was like the weakest, but that's not even because it was a bad show. It's just when you set the bar so high, every other show is a 9 or a 10 or an 8. You're gonna have some 7s come up. So I think that was hard. So I think Dynasty, that's a solid pick. Even though we have bias on ours too, but I still say Dynasty. Just Pac Okada, like you said, Swerve finally getting the title, Willow winning the TBS. There was so many feel good moments and so much just amazing wrestling. And you
O'Reilly versus oh yeah, and then O'Reilly versus Roddy, and Messias. Then also of the Backbreaker, and then also which. I didn't forget about it, but you remember all the hate Jericho got. Holy fuck.
You should have heard the fans.
We listened just that little bit tonight doing that little bit of highlight, and I was like, wow, I kind of forgot how bad it was. I think we were like part of like 10 Jericho fans in the whole place.
It was a rough time period for him.
Yeah, I don't care. I picked him to win that. Hey, I picked him to win that, so I was happy. So fuck everybody else. I picked him to win the FTW belt.
Right.
So, but okay, so mine are All In 24, and I just did that mainly because I was thinking about matches and stuff. I was looking for matches of the years and different things, and it seemed like that kind of came down to it. And like I said, we watched some highlights tonight, trying to kind of justify maybe some things.
Refresh my memory.
And that a little bit too. So I went All In 24, and then my bias kicked in a little bit, like I said, and I'm going with Dynasty as well. Just damn, cats are getting rowdy.
But
sorry.
You're totally fine.
Entertainment.
I can't fault again Dynasty 2024. I can't, and I guarantee even if Emily says something different, I think she's going to say what I'm thinking. There's been a lot of good pay-per-views. I think 2024 was probably one of the best years in wrestling we've had in a while, and I feel like I said that about 2023. I just feel like it just gets better. All the companies are on the up and up. All the performers are next level, so we're going to get next level pay-per-views.
Yeah. I actually had to look up 3 cards to make this decision because I wanted to be like really fair about everything. So the cards that I looked up were really fair, as I only point out AEW cards. The cards I looked up is All In 24, and then I did Revolution and Wrestle Dynasty, and all 3 of them were 100% like, I don't know what to do. Like, they were all so good. But Revolution took it all because Sting's entrance, and then okay, not just the entrance, but his children. I can't wait to see what Steve Borden does in AEW. If he's ever signed with AEW, I don't know where he'll sign, but I know he's been training with people. And that Stinger splash.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty rowdy.
I think I cried in that.
The crowd got so behind that moment. It was incredible. Like that match, when we're talking about all of these things, we've basically discussed Revolution and All In and Dynasty. Like the 3 cards that we've discussed this whole night have been those 3.
And those are the 3 that are number 1, number 2, number 3 on the fan vote.
They really killed it. And also to go off of Revolution, watching Tony Storm's gear come out and it be Mariah May.
Hitting her entrance.
You could have seen my reaction to that. I think like
she dropped our child. No, I'm just kidding.
That was when Saraya came in at WrestleMania. Okay. No, but for real, I think seeing her come out and I was like, wait, that's not Tony.
You're like, that's not
Mariah.
Like,
I was so excited to see
your
that
exact
moment.
words. Actually, I'll never forget it because my eardrum still hurts from it. Was oh my God, Tony! She's too small. That butt's not big enough. Those are exact words. That butt's not big enough.
That's fair. I mean, that's a fair assessment.
I see what you did there.
He's smart.
The number 3 fan vote was All In 2024. The number 2 fan vote was Dynasty 2024. But the number 1 with 37% was Revolution.
Oh, nice.
But I think All In didn't get as many votes as Dynasty. Dynasty got 20% of the votes, which was pretty impressive. And I think because of the card, I think because Swerve winning, because what we said, I think that matters. I think because AEW has so many bell-to-bell bangers that now they realize they have to have those moments. Nigel returning, Bryan winning, Swerve winning, Sting retiring, the Death Riders or BCC back then coming out as the Road Warriors, Orange Cassidy losing and Roderick Strong getting his first AEW gold. Like there's so many moments from all these pay-per-views, but I personally, I think I'm 1A, 1B. I'm right here. Vesper, this is me. Dynasty, Revolution. I think Revolution slightly edges it because I was there, but Dynasty because I saw Bryan Danielson and Will Ospreay. But Revolution, I saw Ospreay and Takeshita, so it's like I got to see a Takeshita match live for the first time and an Ospreay match, and so my bias, I think the only thing that edges me, if I had watched it on TV, it would have been Dynasty first. But because I was there, that gives me that slight edge to Revolution, kind of like the slight edge for you guys for being there.
Yep. Understood.
I can't talk about how good enough both those cards were. And if you notice when we get to the match of the year, how many came from those 2 shows alone, I think justify why both of those kind of won. And again, like you said, the crowd, like I know we had a, crowd there for Sting send off, but it was a rowdy crowd all night, just like St. Louis. You guys were a rowdy crowd all night. And I think that energy helps too, because the performers work harder when the crowd's really going. They get that juice.
Well, and it just keeps the flow going when you get those times where they're both down. That's one thing for me. I always say this. It's like, so if you're a wrestling fan for however long, how do you not, get a clap going when 2 people are down? Like that's the absolute best time to do it. They get their chance to rest. You start building them up so that way after they catch their breath for a second, they're pumped when they start again. Like that's kind of the, it always gets me because I'm the one that seems like I always have to do it. And it's like, really? Are you guys not like, how long you been watching wrestling? And I do have a loud clap.
This one's always got cheers started.
I know. I love them. Like, this is too fucking quiet for a wrestling show.
Yeah, man. That's what I'm saying. Because I always tell her, I said, I don't give a shit. I'm going to cheer and do what I want to do. I'm not offensive to anybody, not yelling out profanity or doing whatever unless it's holy shit or, stuff like that. So nobody can bitch with kids or anything else,
Right.
But I'm going to cheer for who I want, how I want. If I want to chant, clap, I'm going to do it.
Right, like if you're gonna get a "Let's Go Willow" chant going, you're gonna get a "Let's Go Willow" chant going or something.
Damn right. Or be the only place. I was the only person in Las Vegas at Double or Nothing cheering for Kyle O'Reilly. So, think there was me and maybe 5 other people spread throughout the whole stadium. So
it would have been 6 if I was there with you.
and the best part was he won, and nobody
Jack
else.
forever.
I hated to hear that. I hated it. Yeah.
But now the boys are back, so it's all good.
Mm-mm.
So now we have best women's storyline or feud of the year. I just wanted to show Emily how big.
Oh my gosh.
This one's a unanimous decision. So the nominees are Toni Storm and Mariah May, Liv and Rhea, Mercedes and Statlander, Willow and Statlander, Thunder Rosa and Deanna, Mina and Mariah May, Chelsea winning the U.S. title, Tiffy Time, and Jordan and Masha.
Okay. So I only have one. Dang it. My whole one was Toni Storm and Mariah May. Because she turned on a friend, like her best friend. That was like her little protege and everything. And you didn't see that coming. And of course they do kind of look alike. But that was my whole pick. And because then Toni left and then she reinvented herself and then she came back. Like I wasn't expecting Toni to leave. Like that was a big, oh my God, like I can't believe she lost it. What the hell? So that was my pick.
Matt, he's got St. Louis ties too, so he kind of around here for a little while, I think, training and stuff.
Even better. All right. So is Jeff going to stay the chorus, or is he going to shock the system? I'm just kidding.
Well, I'm going to go Toni Mariah as part of it because that was a very good storyline and it did take up a pretty decent portion of the year. So I definitely think that has to be up there. And then another one I'm going to pick, which I know I don't get to see a ton of it, but I got to see a few matches and see some highlights and some different things. But I'm going to throw Jordan Grace versus Masha Slamovich from TNA because they had some good matches. Like I said, I didn't get to watch all of it and things like that, but I saw enough of it to see that they had a pretty good storyline going. So those are going to be my two.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, it elevated her a lot.
It definitely
she was already working well and kind of a beast, but that really helped get her to the next level, I think.
I agree. I think she's going to kind of be the top of that division because I think Jordan Grace is going to make the transition. So I think that helps to get Masha, like you said, to be that top dog in the women's knockouts division, women's division, whatever we're calling it now.
Right. And I mean, she can work, so that's always a plus.
Do you even have to look at the list? I know exactly which one you're thinking.
It's all about Mariah. I love her. Since she came into AEW, I really looked into everything she had done. I went on Cage Match, did my research. It's all about Mariah. I fell in love. I was like, damn, this girl had hardcore matches. She had like glam and glitz, modern day diva. If I got her, Chelsea, and Britt into a match with Deanna, I would take it in a heartbeat. Those four, I need this.
I think if we ever did a cross, I know if you check out at the end, Matt's kind of pushed the idea with Alex, well, potential Orthos WrestleMania with crossovers. I think one crossover match I would love to see is Tiffany Stratton versus Mariah May. I think that would be a cool match and cool, like they could have a fun rivalry. Actually,
I think Chris versus Tiffy would be phenomenal with their gymnast backgrounds.
Oh, it's awesome. That's because you get to meet Masha at House of Glory. I'd love to go to a House of Glory show in New York or Chicago. I always hear they put on banger shows. The only thing I'm not a fan of is one of their commentators. That's why I have a hard time watching them. I'm not a fan of that JD Dork from New York guy, but I just think he's just...
That's why he has a following.
It's just... I'm just not a fan of people who crap on the business just to get clicks and attention. I just feel like it's disingenuous. So, but I'm not going to put it against the promotion because they have great talent there. I just have a hard time. Usually I have to put it on mute and just watch the match if he's talking. But just to show, I just want to show, this is the winning storyline by 83.9%. All about Mariah, dominated. And then second place was Liv and Rhea. Third place was Chelsea Green winning the U.S. title, which I think Chelsea Green definitely would be up there for me too as a great moment. Just her finally getting a title in WB, her finally getting recognized. She came in with a comedy gimmick. She came in with a unserious, but she showed she could work it. She hell of a talent. And I just want to point out the way she finished that match by hitting the Unpretty Her off the top rope transition was incredible. Where she countered it, she hooked her, and she hit it off the top rope. Like, I don't know who came up with that spot, but bravo. And she made it look so good. And then her coming out in the Statue of Liberty last week on SmackDown, like she's got it. There's a reason why she's one of the top women in the industry, and I'm finally glad she's getting her respect. But Mariah May and Tony, holy crap, storyline of the year. The passion both those women put into that story. RJ City, like Vesper said earlier, helping produce it.
A lot of props.
It being literal cinema to the All About Eve movie. And now we're transitioning to the Three Faces of Eve movie. So we're getting these old classic Hollywood movies. So my film buff ass is like, oh, here we go. Because when I was in high school and when I was doing college, I had to do a lot of like stupid artsy fartsy classes to get my credit. So I took film and I took like history of film to get the easy A. It was not an easy A. That was the biggest mistake in life I've ever been told. You had to write a lot of papers on everything you watched and understand themes. And I think seeing that storyline, whoever's working with RJ and Ben and Tony Mariah, they understand themes and dramatizations. Even her new gimmick is part of this, movie series that they're doing, and just how they pull it off and made it entertaining without making it campy. I don't know how they did it, but I'm excited to see where the rest of the story goes. But yeah, 100% storyline of the year, and I think the fans agree because out of 88 votes, 83% said that.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing it definitely captivated everyone.
Yep. Okay.
I would have put Chelsea in second place. Ray Liv has been pretty boring as well right first. Yeah, I think that's why. Why it didn't get out there. I think it's drawn out, and there really hasn't been a payoff. And I think that's what's hard. But like I was saying earlier, I think that's why I liked the Mariah May, because like what Rachel was saying, it had that payoff. You're like, oh, Mariah May won the title, and then Tony just leaves, and now she's back, and she doesn't know what's going on. Like it's just, I like that the story had the payoff, but now it's going to have a second payoff potentially, and
Act two.
It's working. It's working, and I'm excited for this.
They work good together.
Rumble... Oh, sorry, Rachel.
It's okay.
No, you're good.
I think that the Rumble needs to show a little more of what Rhea's got. I think that we need to see a singles run for her again. I think get her away from all these stories, break into something new. I think that the best is yet to come for her. Even though she's been champion, I think that she has so much left in the tank to really showcase.
She just has to go against different competitors, is what you're saying.
Yeah, like I want to see her
put her on SmackDown.
Like get a huge run as a singles person. I think that she deserves it to be a fighting champion that we haven't seen in a while. The men don't even really have that. Bring in a fighting champion. She can take it. That's
what I'm saying. Move her to SmackDown, get her fresh scene, fresh new blood.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's absolutely fair. Mariah Tony was perfect. The payoff was great. I don't know if we'll see something like that too. Yeah, that's the hard part of these storylines is sometimes they go and then you're like, whoa. And then even the men's, speaking of whoa, the best men's storyline, a lot of toss-ups. We have Cody Rhodes finally finishing his story. CM Punk and Drew getting personal. Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. Hangman and Swerve. Bloodline versus New Bloodline, or I guess Wolfpack versus NWO, essentially. Daniel Garcia and MJF, Bryan Danielson and Swerve, Cody and Kevin Owens, and then the American Dragon reunites his passion against Nigel McGuinness.
Oh, an added one.
So
someone must have wrote that one in.
It was me.
That was added.
Very good.
I like it.
That was a good one too.
I'm sorry if it wasn't, but that was definitely mine. Sorry, I went ahead of you.
Oh no, you're fine.
There was a lot of them in there. It was very hard to pick. It was very, very hard to pick. Of course, Cody Rhodes finally winning it. I mean, that tearjerker all the way. Like, that's great. I also thought the whole Hangman and Swerve thing was good because Hangman came back like a little bit of a psycho. Like, ooh, shit. And then I also thought that Daniel Garcia and MJF, because Daniel's finally getting like his time to shine. Like he's finally being able to show everybody what he can do. So those were my three.
Those are three solid choices though. Can't complain.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Yeah, it's kind of wild because, a lot of stuff has been kind of AEW. Heavy, I would say, that's kind of our bias a little bit, no big deal. But it's funny because both my storylines that are my 1 and 2, I guess, are both WWE. It's Cody finishing the story, and I put the Bloodline Civil War. So I put those two, which that one kind of got a little bit. And then if I had to do my third would probably honestly be probably Osprey and Fletcher.
I like it. I like
But-
it.
But I'm gonna go Cody finishing it as my number one.
I like that one.
No, that pissed me off.
What about-
Osprey and Fletcher.
So I looked at the poll and it says American Dragon versus Nigel McGuinness. And I can tell you that like tired after work Emily did not write that. I would have just wrote Brian and Nigel. I love my honesty. But that is my pick is going to be that right now. What I picked after work that day was probably I need to see the list. Hangman Swerve. Because
Okay.
it was a blood feud, everything about that. Hangman Swerve. Again, who burns a fucking house down?
And then like Vesper's he stabbed him in the mouth with the
Syringe and the
Syringe.
cement.
Yeah.
Everything. That whole brutal.
So it's funny because there's a 3-way tie for second. So the overall winner was 64% was Hangman Swerve. Then there's a 3-way tie with Osprey Fletcher, CM Punk and Drew, and Cody finishing the story. So I had two as well. I actually had I'm gonna give flowers to CM Punk and Drew. I think Drew carried that whole feud. So that's why I didn't put it in my eyes as a better, because I think it was Drew just destroying CM Punk on the mic and making him look good in that match and that feud. I got to go Cody just because it finally happened for him again. Those feel good moments and everyone coming to the ring to help him. I think that's number one. But I think for me, I'm going to split it this way. Number one for WWE was Cody obviously finishing the story. But then for AEW, I think it's Hangman and Swerve just because of the blood feud and the brutality. But I agree. I can't knock the Bloodline Civil War. I think with Roman coming back, I think they're finally getting onto something there. I'm kind of worn out on the Bloodline stuff, so I think it's hard to get.
I'm over it.
Right, and that's kind of where I'm at too.
But I can't say it's not good television. That's the thing. I'd be disingenuous if I say, "Oh, it's terrible," because I think that's.
Well, let's be honest. We're salty we didn't get Rock versus Roman.
Oh, I'm salty as hell. I wanted
True. That would be a damn good match.
It should have happened.
It could have been non-title. All I'll say is it could have been
happened.
non-title. It could have been non-title, just a respect match.
It could have been for
The tribal
or punishment for losing the
match.
title, but you lost your title to Cody. Now you have to fight me, the final boss, or something. They could have done. It's here nor
for the top of the table, whatever it was.
Top of the
That's what I mean, head of the table, yeah.
Yes, the head
Tribal
of the
chief
table.
match or whatever.
Yep.
You know?
And then obviously Vespers. So I think it's again, that's what's great. There's so many, like you said, the TNA had some good storylines too. I mean, Mustafa Ali, I'll give flowers. He had a great run and he re-elevated the X Division title with his "You Can't Beat Me" and then Speedball finally dethroning him was a big moment. Him having the private security because he was being a cocky dick. I think TNA's had some good stories. They need to get a better television deal. And I think get those stories shown because I think all three companies really put on their best work this year. And I think it's good for business overall.
The Hardys are finally getting that run that they've been looking for.
Yeah,
Yes.
They haven't had it yet. That is true. All right. So now we're getting to our final 4 categories. If I click the right thing here. Let's see. We did this one. So we are at Female Match of the Year. So there was a lot of them here. I'll try to run down best I can. Mercedes versus Hazuki, New Japan Evolved. Statlander versus Willow, All Out. Statlander versus Mercedes, Full Gear. Statlander versus Mercedes, World End. Bailey versus Io Sky, WrestleMania 40. Mercedes versus Stephanie Vacour, Forbidden Door. Tony Storm versus Mina, Forbidden Door. Tony Storm versus Mariah May at All In 2024. And I think that's it because I can't read the other one that someone wrote in. And if you have one that's not on the list that I forgot, obviously feel free. But those are the kind of the ones I chose from ESPN, Ranker, and Sportster. And cage match, Emily's favorite thing.
Yes. So I only have one for this one, and it's all about Mariah. I thought that match was really good. Them two really came out and did a good job at fighting. So I did. That's the only one I picked, actually. I do like Statlander, though. She came out re-evolved. Like I think she's gotten bigger and everything, and I think she wrestles a lot better
I
now
like the
too.
Statlander Willow All Out.
Yeah.
That one was pretty good. That hardcore match or whatever they had.
Mm-hmm. That was good. We just watched that. Yeah.
Saw some highlights from that. So yeah, I'm gonna go Tony versus Mariah All In 2024, and then I'm gonna go. I did like the Statlander Willow All Out, but then I think my other one it might be Billy versus Athena at Final Battle.
Okay. What's that? Someone did write that one in. I was able to click the button and see it. So yeah, someone wrote Athena Final Battle because I put Athena versus someone else too. Sorry, it's hard. It splits it into like weird like ups and downs. But no, I think I wish Billy had won, but I agree. I think Athena versus Billy at Final Battle was incredible.
Yeah. So those are mine.
I like them though. And can we talk about the All Out when she did the split on the thumbtacks? Because I still have that image in my head when she does that split.
That was one of them. Yeah.
Like I don't even have lady parts and I'm cringing.
You got to pay me a lot of money.
My top pick. Willow and Stat took it for me at All Out.
Nice.
I think that match was everything we could have wanted and then some. I think that it was full of shock moments in a good way. And Statlander didn't have a bad match. She crushed it in 2024. We didn't talk about that enough. She really worked her ass off and came back with a vengeance this year. And it's sad that she doesn't get her TBS title out of it.
I mean, again, there could be more of the story. You know, trilogies happen. I still think the reason why she didn't win, I thought about it after she lost the World's End. I was like, we're getting an Iron Woman match in AEW. That was my first thought for 2025.
I called it last week.
I know what I'm saying it's an Iron Woman match. You know, we're going to get a 30, 45, even 60-minute Iron Woman match. Mercedes has done one with Bayley before in NXT.
You told me an hour was too long last week, and
No,
now you're down?
I did not say it was an hour too long. I said that our regular match is too long. An Iron Woman match, I would, but a regular match, no.
Stipulations. You hear this, guys?
Because you have to make an hour match make sense because you have to get people invested.
They already have the longest match with over 20 minutes. Now let's go for 30 and then let's go for the hour.
But no, but
Prove that we can do
go
this.
right to the hour. Don't go for 30, go right to the hour. Put that record out of reach.
I'm going to put that record from last week up.
24-26. That's what it was. 24 minutes and 26 seconds.
I'm talking about when you told me no.
I told you no for a regular match because to me, an hour match. If it's not an Iron person, Iron person match,
Bailey
it doesn't make
and
sense.
Sasha did it. Now we can see Stat and Mercedes.
Yeah, but you said an hour, and I said it has to be an Iron Woman match. You said no, it can just be an hour. I'm saying an hour, no, because I want to see those points because that last 15 minutes will go by a lot quicker if both women are tied 1-1, and you need that decisive pinfall to happen.
Correct.
All right, we know we both can't be wrong.
I'm not saying I'm right.
I'm saying we got to move on, or else we'll keep going.
So, female match of the year for voting in third place actually changed. Statlander versus Mercedes at Full Gear. Second place is Statlander versus Mercedes at World End. 2 Statlander matches, by the way. Statlander Mercedes World End is first place. Second, and then Ryan May and Tony Storm at All In. So Statlander Mercedes Full Gear and World's End were in the top 3, and then so wasn't Tony Storm Mariah. But I'm World's End must be a lot of recency bias, I'm guessing, because it just happened. I don't know. I had a hard time with this one, but I think I went Statlander versus Mercedes at Full Gear. I think the first time they linked up, just because I didn't expect both women to pull it out. I didn't expect Statlander to be able to kind of go toe to toe. I knew she was a great worker, but we hadn't seen her really go against someone for more than like 10, 15 minutes. And then she went in there, had a 20+ minute match, and then she went and had a 24-minute match at World's End. So I think Matt said it perfectly. The fact that Statlander's name was brought up more than once is something to watch. I think, agreed, just like you said, she's someone to watch in 2025. I think she will get her TBS title back. I hope so. I can see Revolution LA. I can see her. That was my prediction. I think we were talking about LA, Revolution, Mercedes versus Statlander 3. Maybe that's when Camille kind of comes in, but have Mercedes lose it in LA. I think that'll get that crowd hyped. Statlander winning it, carrying into All In, should be a great champion to carry it into All In. That's just my personal opinion.
And then we could get Mercedes versus someone else for the Max title in the future.
No, I don't want a Max title.
There.
No,
we need
no
a
more
Max
titles.
Title.
Listen, we do. They are on Max.
I already want them to squash the trios titles because they're not doing anything with them.
So they can do a trade.
How about this? I don't want the max title. Give me the women's tag titles instead of the max title.
I would take it.
I'll take the
Maximum.
women's
Give
tag
me
ti-
two.
I'd rather
Stop
have
calling
that.
things. I don't want a max title. It's not Netflix. It's not the Netflix Tribal Chief Championship here. So now we go from the female match of the year to the male match of the year, which this one, I was watching these votes like a hawk because holy crap, they were going up and down. Everyone has different opinion, but when you hear all these names, I just want you to count with me the amount of times Ospreay is mentioned.
Yep.
I was going to say, yeah.
Darby Allin and Sting versus the Young Bucks. Takeshita versus Speedball Mike Bailey at MLP. Ospreay versus Takeshita at Revolution. Ospreay versus Takeshita versus Ricochet at Wrestle Dream. Ospreay versus Danielson Dynasty. Ospreay versus Fletcher versus the Young Bucks at Grand Slam. Ospreay versus Fletcher Full Gear. Ospreay versus Fletcher World's End. I'm trying to hit this little button here. Come on. Seriously, now you're going to do this. Come on. All right. Technical difficulties here because it wants to be a pain in the butt. Ospreay versus Swerve at Forbidden Door.
What if you just click the little pie?
Ospreay versus Okada, World's End 2024.
Yeah, Ospreay versus Okada, Wrestle Dream. Yep.
Ospreay versus Michael Oku, Rev Pro High Stakes. Swerve versus Bryan Danielson, All In. Bryan Danielson versus Okada, Wrestle Kingdom 18. Cody versus Roman Reigns, WrestleMania 40. I'm going to stop there.
Thank you. Yeah. That was on there too. So those are the ones. Thank you for appreciate that. I'm like, the button.
Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, no problem.
Lot to
What
choose
you got?
from. Glutton for punishment here.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, I'm definitely going to pick an Ospreay one because I absolutely love him. So I liked the Ospreay and the Bryan Danielson match. I thought that was a really good match. Of course, but they both fought very well. I think that they're both good athletes. So that's the one that I picked, Ospreay. And Ospreay and Fletcher, I'm over that one too. Something needs to happen there.
Well, it's pretty much not squashed all the way, but kind of.
It must be a Kyle thing.
I know.
He's punching holes in the wall, getting that monster.
Okay, I have Will Ospreay versus Danielson Dynasty for my biased one, and it was a good match. And then I have Swerve versus Bryan at Forbidden Door.
That was good too.
That was a great one.
That was bloody.
So those are my two.
All right. So what do you got, Emily, for your male match of the year?
Ospreay versus Takeshita.
Revolution for your bias.
Revolution for my bias, but my overall, because dreams do come true, Ospreay versus Bryan. I think that moment alone for each of them, because each of them wanted to have that match, is really incredible when you look at it as a whole, to think that they are able to put on the match after wanting it for so long. Like, it wasn't just something Ospreay wanted. Danielson wanted it too.
So you are on the same page as Vesper here then.
Yes, there's two matches.
So this one, we have in third place Ospreay versus Takeshita at Revolution. In second place, Darby Allin and Sting versus the Young Bucks.
That was good.
And the fan choice for the winner, Ospreay versus Danielson at Dynasty 2024, won the fan vote.
Wow.
And Swerve and Bryan Danielson all in 2024 came in fourth place.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
I went with Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson at Dynasty 2024 for my overall match of the year. My bias is Takeshita, me and Ospreay close there, but my overall is Bryan and Ospreay because I knew Bryan Danielson was hanging it up this year. You've been talking about it. A match you never thought you'd see happen. The match delivered on all levels. They did the thing on the poster. I popped so hard when they did the Hidden Blade Busaiku knee like combination. They're just like on the poster where they're running at each other. I'm like, oh my God, that happened. And then just like you said earlier at the top of the show, he banned the Tiger Driver. They had a story that he was no longer going to use Tiger Driver because he hurt Bryan using it. And I think it helped kind of change his character and kind of give him more motivation, give him that babyface push that like, I'm not going to do a move that hurts someone just because I win matches with it.
Well,
So
it got him away from that Don Callis family type vibe he was kind of started with to get him over. Well, not over like that, but over here as far as moving to AEW.
So we have, that's the Ospreay Sting.
And they played that whole Brian Danielson thing out when he got hurt. Like they had the ambulance come, they took him off. Like Osprey really looked like he was upset. And
I'll tell you this, like we said when we went, Chaffetz isn't a big place because it's where the St. Louis Billikens, which they're a little bit smaller, like a 1A type college. They're D1, but they're a little bit smaller. But I mean, that pop was because people, who do you root for? And Brian Danielson versus Will Ospreay.
Mhm.
So people like didn't know who to exactly. That's what a lot of people did because I don't even know how to go. And then you just kind of, well, I guess I'm going to pick a side according to my section or, or something because it's like you liked them both. So you just rooted for everything.
Absolutely.
I think Matt forgot a name in his rant.
Who did he forget?
Daniel Garcia.
Oh God!
Oh, no, don't do it.
You're trying to get Matt to block you before the cruise.
No, I've already done that with my favorite people.
These next ones we'll be able to run through these ones because they won't have hopefully as much divisiveness, but they could. This one, I was surprised at the fan results. Faction of the year. Now the factions, they kind of took a step back this year. There wasn't really a lot of power factions. Some kind of formed, some kind of reformed. So we have the new bloodline. So I call them the Bloodline Wolfpack. We have Death Riders, the OG bloodline, the Sinister Six, which is Killer Cross's group there, the System from TNA, House of Black, Bullet Club, and Chaos.
Okay, so I have two. Of course, the Bullet Club, because the Bullet Club will always win everything. They are an original. They are the OG. So my first pick would be the Bullet Club, and then my second would be House of Black. I really, really like them. I like how they have Julia, and she's all demonic too. And they look kind of scary. I mean, they're tall, they're burly, they got tattoos. I mean, who wants to meet them on Saturday night in freaking alley? So that would be my second pick. So
I like it. Both solid picks
Okay.
there.
Yeah. Bullet Club used to be the shit. They still are decent, but it's just not quite the same anymore.
dude, they're the OG, man.
Well, not really. They don't have anybody in it anymore. It's OG. They're all gone elsewhere. Don't get me wrong. I love me some Bullet Club, but it's a little different these days. So
yeah, David Finley is not really
They've been picked apart.
not really someone who I'm gonna put all my chips on.
They've been
Exactly.
very much picked apart the past like 5 years.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
People outgrow New Japan, so that's what it is. That's why their system is built on the young generation come up, rising up, and leave basically.
Maybe they need a new name, not Bullet Club.
Yeah,
Well, they got how they do their
too much
little
merch.
side
Just too much merch to get to not sell for that.
Oh,
That's very true.
not as much anymore, but still, I guarantee it. So, all right. Well, my factions, I'm gonna do OG Bloodline, Don Callis family, and the Patriarchy, with an honorable mention, House of Black.
I like it, and thank you, Vesper.
That's like 4.
So,
No, but I mean those are four solid choices. I know Emily's got the Judgment Day on top. No, I'm just kidding. I just wanted to see. So, all right, who do you have, Emily? You have the new Bloodline, the Death Riders, OG Bloodline. Who you got?
So at first I picked the Death Riders because they've really been on top of AEW in a bad way. Like I'm liking it, but I'm hating it all at the same time because like where the fuck's this championship? Is it even in that briefcase? Like what is going on? And like when is someone else other than Willow gonna come out and shake up Marina's life? I'm like, I need this. So with all that being said, I started doing my other votes and I realized I was like, wait, I kind of liked this and I liked that and I liked this. And I realized the conglomeration was pretty freaking great this year. And now going into 2025,
I think
Kyle O'Reilly is back with the Undisputed. So is the conglomeration
Oh yeah, he
over?
bailed on the conglomeration. He mentioned it. He said he had another group and how he's got a new group.
So like I was ready to see conglomeration versus having with the Death Riders, and I was looking forward to seeing Willow going after Marina. I thought this was going to be a full match. I was ready for it, and they didn't deliver that yet. So let's see where it goes. Those are my top 2.
So the fan votes definitely are all split, but Conglomeration came in at third with
nice.
11%. The OG Bloodline came in at second, and the Death Riders won with 24%. But again, they were all changing. Mine, I didn't really think there was a really good faction this year. I didn't really think there was a faction that like stood out and kind of dominated. So I guess just for I'm gonna go with the patriarchy just because I love Christian Cage. And I think honorable mention House of Black as well because I think they have a lot to do. But probably OG Bloodline. If I had to pick from the top three, I think OG Bloodline reuniting, Sammy reuniting, the Usos finally reuniting. I think the story is more impactful for that. I like the Death Riders. I think the Death Riders are just they're not delivering for me yet. So they're kind of just doing the same thing, weekly beatdowns. I just need to see something a little bit more fresh for them. And I think they're stale to me. That's what it is. They're stale.
Going back
put up
to
or
House
shut
of
up.
Black. Yeah, put up or shut up. House of Black, I think Julia coming back, she actually looks younger. I don't know if it's because her hair is so lightened.
Or because she's 20.
She looks like such a young, refreshed kid. And I actually enjoy that. And I want to see Sky Blue come back with her. And I want to see them really take on some matches. I think that it's incredible to see someone so young, so talented. And that's something I wanted to touch on is, yes, she was out for, I think, about half the year. But Julia Hart is an incredible talent. And she's so young. She's going to do so much in this industry.
And no, the Learning Tree did not win just because they're funny on TV, but no thanks, AJ.
Hi guys.
I like Jericho and Jericho Cooper. I think it's funny.
It's time to go on to something else.
I want Big Bill by himself. He's getting too much reaction to be stuck with Learning Tree right now.
Kind of like Wardlow. Totally almost said Waldo. Wardlow.
That's Coco on the cruise. That's Corey. Coco's gonna dress up like Waldo. Making photobomb everyone. All right, few more here, and then we're almost done. We have female tag team of the year, like I was saying earlier. It was really hard to find female tag. Emily actually had to write one in for me. But we have Bianca and Jade Cargill, the Unholy Union, the Kabuki Warriors, the Vendetta, which is Deonna Purrazzo and Taya Valkyrie, Katana Chance and Caden Carter, Chelsea and Piper Niven, someone put none, Spitfire, which is Danny Luna and Jody Threat and TNA.
Okay, so I have two. So my first one, only because I wanted to see them two come together because I thought that they would both have big heads and not be able to wrestle together, would be Bianca and Jade Cargill. I hate the fact that Jade left, but them two together, I think they can really do some damage. And then I also have the Vendetta because I like Taya. I love her little boots with the fur. But she's also a good wrestler. And she gets into it. Like she's really tough and rough. So that's what I picked.
I like it.
Nice. I wasn't expecting that second one.
You like that boot with the fur?
No, I didn't necessarily like that part, but I went Bianca and Jade Cargill and then Chelsea and Piper.
Ooh, you guys are like soulmates on that one.
So, because they had a good run. But I think Bianca and Jade have killed it on the tag scene for the ladies.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm really kind of heartbroken about Jade. I was just happy to be able to see her still wrestling when she finally got to debut in WWE. I think they took too long. It's hard. Ooh, but without that tangent, Chelsea and Piper is the one I made him write in because I was like, excuse me, you forgot my girl Chelsea Green. So I think
I actually liked it.
Yeah, they had a really great run. I think that they should have been tag teams longer. They are one of the best pairs as far as charisma goes. WWE does have a pretty decent tag team division for the women. It's just a matter of them actually utilizing the tag belts correctly. They get passed around more than something I won't say again.
We already talked about Vince earlier.
So I think that it's just a really disappointment about how frequently they drop titles. But also, Tony and Mariah had a great tag run for a little while as well. It lasted about 6 to 8 months, but I thought their tag run was pretty good.
I wouldn't even really say they tagged though, because I didn't really have a lot of tag matches in that run. But
Yes, they did.
It was good. I'll give you that. I would say more. I would say it was more of a trio with Mina. That would have been a good faction if they put a name on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go the exact same issue. I think Bianca and Jade. First of all, I want to shout out their Lady Deadpool cosplay that they did recently. That was pretty freaking cool.
Yeah,
it was.
I like Bianca. I think she's one of the most talented performers in WWE, and I think putting her and Jade together really helps maybe get Jade used to WWE production and how they wrestle there, and hard cam and timing and all the other fun stuff. I agree with Emily. I think the tag titles are too hot potatoed or too just not taken seriously. But I think my number 2 though. I don't know. I really like Spitfire. Someone wrote in Spitfire. I forgot they were a thing, but I like Danny Luna. I think she's been killing it on the indies and TNA.
Mm-hmm.
I really love Jody Threat. I still remember when Jody Threat was in on AEW Dark with Athena, and there was controversy because they thought they were stiffing each other, but that's how they worked. I remember people like, "Oh my God, this Jody Threat and Athena, they went out there and went in business for themselves." I'm like, no, that's just how they work. They're both stiff as fuck.
Correct.
And we actually got to meet Jody back in 2020-21 ish
Oh,
area.
nice.
Yeah.
And I highly recommend it. If you get to see her, meet her, pet her dog. She usually has that dog with her. She is a female styled Darby Allin as far as meeting people. I think that she
doesn't
really
realize how
is
much popularity
awesome.
she has too. I think that's the big thing.
I think that she is really underrated. Again, watching Chris Statlander defend her at Limitless made everything just so much better that night, telling a fan to shut the fuck up. Because she was trying to give Jody her flowers, and that was back in 2020.
That's true. All right. So now I lied. Now we have, we still have a few more. So I'm sorry. I didn't realize I made this so big.
1, 2, 3. You got like 4 more, I think.
Male tag team of the year, which we have FTR, Fraxum. I can never say their name, but it's Nathan Frazier and
Fraxium.
Grizzled Young Vets, Private Party, Young Bucks, DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, The Acclaimed.
It won't work.
I wasn't saying it's not letting me see who else is in there, but there's a couple other ones in there. Let's see.
TMDK, The Mighty Don't Kneel, and then that's
Outrunners.
it that I have on mine. And that's what I was wondering. I'm like, damn, no Outrunners on there?
Yeah, and then Outrunners. That was the other team that was on the page.
Okay. Rachel, who you got?
Okay, so of course the Young Bucks, because they're the best and they're the OG. But I also have the Acclaimed. I think that they are really good wrestlers. I think that they haven't really been able to shine as much as they need to.
They're getting ready to split up.
Well, I don't like that.
Haven't you been watching?
Yes.
Lex Caster's getting ready to.
Oh, shit.
Yep.
All right, I'll take that back.
Like,
yeah, I haven't watched it.
Caster's been a kind of a bitch the last month or two.
Okay, so I'll just go with the Young Bucks because those are OG.
You can't really argue with the Bucks. They had a pretty good year because I picked the Young Bucks as well, and then I had my fan pick as the Outrunners. So that's why they didn't get as high a pick for me earlier for the Breakout because I had them for tag team. So.
I like it.
I'm going to go Young Bucks and Private Party. I think that they both, like the Young Bucks really did what they were supposed to do. I could not stand that run. They truly did their job. And then Private Party coming through, winning those titles finally. Oh my gosh, it was just beautiful magic. I loved every second. I was so happy for them. We recently rewatched their first match together in 2019, the second Dynamite, which we were thankfully there for. But yeah, we were watching that back and I was like, oh my God, they were so young.
Babies.
And they've grown so much. Like their moveset is still good and crisp, just like it was that first match. Like to watch that transition has really been beautiful.
No, I agree with that one. They both all four have really grown in the ring, and I love that Young Bucks this year said that they were trolling everyone by working sloppy and slow just to prove they could still go. So they worked everyone. Everyone's like, we wanted people to think we were washed. We were wearing suits. We were wearing ridiculous clothes. My brother was wearing pearls. We were wrestling slow in the ring, and then they came out at Grand Slam with basically United Empire, and they put on a banger to remind, yeah, we're still here. So I think that's why they came in second place on the fan voting with 15% of the votes was the Young Bucks. Third place was Private Party, and Fraxum are kind of tied for third place. And the fan vote, so I'm surprised, FTR, which they didn't really do a lot this year, but I guess that just maybe shows some of the talent disparity. The tag team division kind of weakened in AEW this year. It wasn't at its strongest points at points, but I think I'm going to go Young Bucks. Just because their consistency of matches and because we were supposed to hate how they wrestled. And I'm going to go Fraxum, number 2. I think Fraxum over on NXT has been killing it. Nathan Frazier is an underrated talent. I think they have unbelievable chemistry, and some of those NXT PLEs I've been watching have just been phenomenal with them, and I think they don't really get enough love for how good they are, so I think that's why I'd like to put them up there. But I think, yeah, Young Bucks are just, as much as people hate their personas and maybe how stuff went down with backstage situations, you can't deny they're one of the best in the ring for a reason.
Yes, they are. Agreeing. They do well together too. I love it.
They do. All right. So now we start getting into the Wrestler of the Year categories, the last 4. So first we have Best Female Independent Wrestler. We have Allie Katch, Janai Kai, Jada Stone, Paris Van Dale, Ava Everett, Becca, Delmi Exo, Megan Bain, and Stormy Renee. Someone wrote in.
Okay, so I really don't have a pick on that one because I think that they all are doing amazing. They're getting out there and they're doing the best they can. So I don't have one for that. I'm so sorry. I'm a loser on that one.
You're fine. It's hard. The indies have been kind of not, I wouldn't say cold, but they're getting kind of picked clean with the WBID and NXT, and having 3 companies right now using talent is kind of not, I wouldn't say hurting the indies, but they're taking a lot of these. The second someone kind of blows up, they get snatched up. Billy Starks won last year and she got snatched up by AEW. Oh, not Billy. Yeah. The year before, and she got snatched right up.
Now, when we do indie, does that consider TNA still being indie?
I would say if like Danny Luna, if they're not under contract, but if they do like per appearance, like Speedball was per appearance.
Okay, and that was what I wanted to make sure of because he was on the best male Speedball list. So that's why I wanted to ask, because I know he wrestled not exclusively, but fairly exclusively with them. So
yeah, that's I don't think Jordan Grace would qualify, but yeah, like someone probably like Danny Luna or Jody Threat, because they still wrestle predominantly on the indies.
Okay. I had Allie Katch or Ava Everett.
Oh, I like that one. All right. We know who Emma always goes for.
My girl, Jada definitely took it for me. I think she traveled. She really showcased her everywhere. Like, she was able to go to Mexico. She was working with New Japan in LA, and she was up at Limitless. She went to TNA. She went to, I believe, a dark mat.
She worked with Mio Iwatani.
She was everywhere.
She worked WrestleMania week.
Yeah, like I really enjoy watching her style, her charisma, the spark that she has really just ignites. And to go along with that, I also want to give a shout out to Allie Katch. She is killing it. Her GCW stories are always on top. Allie is one of definitely my favorites. She did a IWTV, what was that, like a biography style? So she did this like IWTV where she had the cameras on her for, I believe, a week or a weekend. And just getting to see her life and what she went through, it was really nice to see everything that she puts in.
No.
See if I can
definitely fair points on that one. I think Allie Katch has been killing it. I mean, she came in second, 24%. Third place was Jada Stone, which I'm surprised. So, cheap plug, check out YouTube. We did an interview with Jada Stone. Check out our YouTube or Spotify for that one. Fourth place was Ava Everett. So there are people out there who like them, which is
Again,
good.
we have an interview with Ava as well.
And then Megan Bain
Ooh.
came in first place on voting with 33%.
Ooh, okay. Don't get
I-
to see a lot of her.
I think Megan Bain, I think that would be mine too. I just think, her running GCW, I think she's just all over the place. I think the whole, is she signed to AEW? Is she going to sign to AEW? Is she signed to be? Is she going to? I think when you start getting those talks behind you, when you start getting those rumors behind you, it's because people are interested. Obviously, it could be her side of the team leaking that out to get interest. But I feel like there's chatter for a reason. And I think her presentation is incredible when she comes out like the Megasaurus. Her strength, she reminds me of like a Statlander or a Camille, where she can just toss people around. Aaron Rourke, who was just recently ID'd, who works a lot in the Northeast Indies, he's probably like, I don't know what, 6 feet tall or 180 pounds, maybe. Like, he's pretty muscular. She's just ragdolling him, throwing him around the ring. And I'm just like, that's impressive. Because, yeah, I know it's a dance and you need 2 people to do it, but she's ragdolling someone. So I feel like it shows her commitment. And I think honorable mention, though, I'm going to put shout out to Delmy Exo. I wrote her in there. She's on MLW right now. She just showed up at Ring of Honor tapings last week. I think her and Ashley, even though they split up, both are kind of killing it in their own ways. But I think there's going to be a lot of women next year who are going to really explode in the indie scene because there's a lot of spots available for these women to grab. I think that's, having a hard time finding them, but that's because there's a lot of spots for them to kind of take the brass ring, so to speak.
Because, again, they've been picked apart for the last 5 years on the independents with these newer companies coming out. So it's time for more to rise up. It's time for us to focus on the newer talents like Ashley D'Amboise. We haven't seen her for a hot minute.
She's not a Ring of Honor.
Oh, JK.
So
There's these people that we can keep looking forward to, and you want to find that new talent because when they do come to TV, it makes it that much more special. And
speaking of special, this is our closest vote where first and second place are literally only a difference of 0.02.
Oh, wow.
One vote difference for this one. So it's best male indie wrestler, Matt Cardona, Speedball Mike Bailey, Manders, Bojack, Alec Price, Marcus Mathers. No, not Eminem. Marcus, he's sorry, that's bad joke. Mance Warner, Calvin Tankman, and a couple of people wrote in Atticus Cougar, Tommy Dean, and Michael Oku.
That would be a pretty good one, actually.
So I picked Matt Cardona. A, I like him. B, he's always on the cruise. But I think that he does a good job. So that's who I picked.
Oh, he's ready.
I think he should sign to AEW.
Never know. You never know. He just had that stuff with Jericho.
Hit.
So I did, because that's why I asked the question about Speedball. So I'm going Speedball Cardona because, he's already the king of the indies. And then Michael Oku would be an honorable mention. And then I'm going to add in either EC3 or Tom Latimer for NWA because they had their program run and then Tom Latimer is the champ. So he took it from EC3.
And Tom's he's married to Camille, isn't he?
Yes.
Okay, I was going to say, because I know, someone told me that because sometimes they come to Durham. Someone's like, oh, Tom Latimer's in Durham. I'm like, why would he be? Oh, Camille's from here. That's right.
Yes, she's from there. And then she played softball or whatever down in Florida or something like that for college, cool. I think. So. Yeah,
no, we saw actually at FWE, Tom Latimer, we saw him. That was the first time we got to see him live. And he was, sad I missed him. He's definitely a hell of a worker.
He's got a presence.
So, Emily, this is going to be tough for you because you like pretty much everyone in the top. So who are you choosing? Are you choosing Always Ready? Are you choosing Speedball? Or
So I believe I picked Matt Cardona because, hello, it's Matt Cardona.
Exactly.
But Speedball was definitely a close second for me as well as obviously everybody. But Matt Cardona, even injured, he manages to still work, and being hated so much in GCW from the start of his GCW, it just makes me so happy to see everyone hate him so much because he's so sweet and nice on the other side of things. I think that's what makes such, like, we were talking about House of Black earlier, Rachel, where you're like, I don't want to meet them in a dark alley. And I'm like, they probably saved me in a dark alley.
Yeah, I was going to say.
They're so nerdy on the
Cardona
other
would
side
save
of
you,
it.
but he'd charge you $20.
Yeah, like Cardona would be like, oh yeah, you need my help?
Oh,
Give you an 8x10.
you want me to save you? That's a combo. No deals.
Yeah, he did that to me.
15 to save.
He did that to me at NWA.
Oh, I believe it. He admits that.
I was like, oh man.
He was
I
talking
was
about
like, yes.
one of his podcast episodes. He was talking about how on the cruise, how he joked around with someone, how it was $20 for a picture. And I wish I knew who it was, but he was like, yeah, on the cruise, someone came up and asked for a picture. And I was like, $20. And they left. And they thought I was serious. So I saw him again. He gave me $20. So I gave him a picture. So someone on the cruise paid $20 to get a picture because they didn't realize he was just like working it. I'm like, that's hilarious. Because Cardona was like, sweet, $20.
Oh yeah, I know. He put that right in his fanny pack.
Yeah.
He definitely.
He was cool. He was cool though. We talked a little bit about the cruise, but I was like, oh man. I said, it's interesting. I'll just tell you that.
Yes.
I don't know from your side, but I know from my side. So
Oh yeah, I know. It's definitely you're gonna have to drop some money to talk to him. He wants to make his money. I think he openly admits that he'll.
So we actually,
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna confess an embarrassing thing.
Please
we
don't.
listen and we don't judge.
Oh god, we're not doing this.
So Josh Mongo got a call for buying merch, and I had been waiting for this call. I was super excited, and guess who was in the shower when Matt Cardona called us?
oh boo.
Yep.
So I put on speakerphone. I'm like, she's in the shower. Can you yell out? And he's on speakerphone. Emily, it's Matt. Hi.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And then I got to
Yeah,
meet
but
him
that's
a
so
year
cool.
later in Greensboro.
I was gonna say I paid like $40 on Pro Wrestling Tees to buy like a shirt I never wanted just so I could get that phone call.
What do you mean the shirt? I think that's your Zach and Cody shirt.
Yeah, I didn't really want that shirt. I did, but I was like, oh, I guess I'll get it for the phone call.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was super excited waiting for this call, hoping it didn't come when I was at work. And then it came when I was just I had just gotten in the shower.
Oh man.
So Matt Cardona came in first place. Speedball came in second. They're literally only divided by one vote.
Wow.
I voted for Speedball. I love Cardona. Cardona's won our poll 3 years in a row. I can't believe he's going to win a fourth. I think it's Speedball. I think Speedball he went to MLP. He's gone to DPW. He's gone every single place, just like Cardona. Speedball had match of the year candidates with so many different people. He worked so many people. He worked so stiff. I think if rumors are true, I think we're going to see him next week in the Casino Battle Royal. I'm hoping. But I think as of right now, I think he's my choice. And then my 1B would be Cardona. And I think since we're doing special shout outs, I want to give a shout out to Bojack. He's a big man, but he's got a presence to him. We've seen him a few times at DPW. He is a big man, but he kind of reminds me of like, what's the guy who does the tsunami? What's his name? Bronson Reed, where he's big, but he can move. Like, and that's not someone I want running at me like a football player.
Right.
Yeah.
Special shout out. I also want to say Alec Price. He's been a lot of places this year. He's really working hard. He's putting the work in, and Alec is one to watch. We've seen him at Limitless from Mongo yelling to tuck his ties in.
Okay, if you're gonna wear trunks, tuck your strings in. That's all I'm asking. It was just really distracting. It was really distracting every time he would like go over. It looks like his little dingus was hanging out because the strings were moving.
Fast. He's like Darby Allin, fast pace.
I thought it was his penis hanging out because of the string, the way it was. And I was like, oh my god. I was just making sure we gotta look out for each other. Just like girls look out for each other. We gotta look out for each other. Like
that's true. That's true.
So now female wrestler of the year, which this is a landslide on the voting, so I'm sure we'll be all landslide on this one too. But we have Toni Storm, Mariah May, Mercedes Moné, Willow, Chelsea Green, Chris Statlander, Athena, Roxanne Perez, Julia, and what's her new name? Zarya and Stephanie Vetkour.
Okay, so I thought it was Breakout Wrestler of the Year. But anyway, I would definitely go with Toni Storm. I think she did her part very well. I love the black and white that they had. I love the whole Mercedes or the Mariah May thing. And like she really looked heartbroken whenever like Mariah attacked her and everything. So my pick is Tony Storm.
I like it.
Okay. I'm going Tony Storm from AEW, Athena from Ring of Honor, and Roxanne Perez from WWE.
Well, you can't have three.
I did them from different companies.
I had 3 too.
I did them from different companies. I mean,
Those are all
That's good.
solid choices too. Roxanne's killing it on NXT.
we got to
I
see
still
her a
call her
little bit at
Roxy.
Ring of Honor. You're right, Roxy, because that's when we got to see her the one time in Ring of Honor. And she was a pup.
So the obvious choice is Tony Storm. I'm going to flip this and I'm going to say my 3, Athena, Chris Statlander, and Chelsea Green.
I was wondering if that would work its way in there.
All right. I like it. So the fan voting, first place with 60% of the votes is Tony Storm. Second place is Mariah May, and third place is Athena. So I think all solid choices. Since we're doing 3 from each company, I'm going to say Tony Storm for AEW. WWE, I'm probably going to say Roxy or probably Rhea, just from a presence standpoint, but I think I'm going to lean more towards Roxy. And I got to go with Athena. I think Athena, almost 2-year run with that Ring of Honor title, she's elevated. When she leaves Ring of Honor, they're in good hands. Like when she comes to the main roster, Ring of Honor is set up for success. When Billy or whoever takes that title off her, they're going to be a made woman when they get that title. So I think Athena is only going to just elevate herself and go into the women's division in AEW and get the TBS title, the women's title, to capstone her career. I think Athena gets her flowers too. But yeah, I think Tony, Athena, and Roxy as well. I agree with you, Jeff. I think I'm the exact same as you. I think all 3 women kill it. Matt says Liv Morgan's really stepped up.
That was my honorable mention. Liv Morgan / Rhea Ripley. That was my honorable mention.
I do like it. I just think I'm over the whole "you stole my boyfriend" storyline. I just think they need a little bit more. I don't want to say stakes, but I think they need to be away from each other and have different feuds to show who they can be. Because right now we've seen what they can be together. I want to see Liv go against a returning Becky Lynch, because Becky Lynch told her you'll only be champion if I retire, and now she's champion. That's where I think you kind of make that a little interesting for 2025.
What would be really interesting is if Liv went out the same way the rest of the Riot Squad did, and she gets knocked up by Dom Dom.
I don't think Dom Dom's wife would like that too much.
Their charisma's a little too much. Just saying.
Sometimes she was talking about that earlier.
Oh my God. Seriously, I'm going to need you to step back and get away from his mouth, okay? Let him breathe.
It's a Mr. and Mrs. Smith situation, I'm telling you right now.
It's a lot.
It is.
I mean it as a joke, but like...
Yeah.
Are you sure there's nothing else going on there?
Right.
Open relationships happen. I'm just saying.
Yeah, a lot of them come out of the wrestling industry, and this way.
As Bruce Buffer would say, it's now time for the main event, the male wrestler of the year.
Oh, let me get to that one.
So we have Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson, Swerve Strickland, Hangman Page, Will Ospreay, Takeshita, Cody Rhodes, Gunther, Drew McIntyre, and there was one other one. Nope, I guess that was it. Sorry, I thought I had. Oh, Zack Sabre Jr. Thank you. I was like, there was another one. I remember writing it in. So, really solid list. Everyone on that list had an amazing year. Obviously, you could go down to each single person and make a case why they should be. But, Rachel, who do you think won Wrestler of the Year in your opinion this year for the men?
My all-time favorite, Will Ospreay, because he knows how to work the crowd, and he is such a good wrestler. And whenever he runs, like, from side to side, he really runs, sprints to it. He tries very hard. I also have Bryan Danielson because he's always good. He really is. And then Cody Rhodes because he's an original. And I love the fact that he finally won the belt. His dad is so proud of him. So that's who I have. I have 3.
I like it.
For mine, I would say just going back and talk, kind of referencing all the things we talked about previously. I mean, you kind of have to say Will Ospreay and Bryan Danielson because they've been in almost every conversation for everything that they can kind of qualify for.
Yeah.
I mean, holy shit moments, match of the year, this and that, storylines, whatever. So for AEW, yeah, I'm going to go Will and Bryan. And then I think for my WWE side of it, I was kind of looking Cody and possibly Gunther, maybe, even though I hate saying that. Walter.
Right. I still
Be
say
honest
Walter all the
here.
time.
I know it's hard to say. So, but yeah, I'm going to go with those. But I don't know if I'm choosing Walter over Cody or the other way around. I'm going to take Walter over Cody.
I like it.
I think Walter did more matches in ring work. I'll put it that
And
way.
he's the
that's what I mean.
general.
And I try to think of like the overall year for all of these is what I try. So like somebody who's only like really big or something for a month or two, I try not to kind of let that sway me because that's not the whole year.
So this says the male wrestler of the year. So
Yes.
Ospreay was the wrestler of 2024.
Yes, he
Yeah.
was.
Like, there is no denying Cody. There's no denying anybody else on this list. Swerve Strickland, Danielson, nobody else. But damn, Will fucking Ospreay. He came in on fire. His song Hitting at Revolution, he talks about how he didn't expect it to go that big. We didn't expect it to be that big. And we were there. And you guys were there at Dynasty. The whole crowd takes over for that song. And that doesn't happen a lot in wrestling. As much as we see it, it's not often.
It's special when it does.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you all had great thoughts. I definitely agree. The top three in third place is Takeshita. In second place is Swerve Strickland and Bryan Danielson. And in first place with 51% of the votes is Will Ospreay. And I think, like you all said, just in the match of the year category, he was nominated for 10 matches of the year. So if you think there's 12 months in a year, he's nominated for 10 of them. 2 in one night at Wrestle Dynasty.
Yeah.
I don't do Dave Alka-Seltzer, Meltzer, whatever we're calling him. I don't care about his star ratings, but he got the most star ratings from Dave in Cage Match. And I think he's on another level this year. I think he wanted to prove himself to American audiences, and he did. I think Swerve had not underrated, but I think Swerve had a hell of a year too. I don't think Swerve had a bad match.
He was my honorable mention from AEW. Would have been Swerve.
And his feuds, every feud means something from Danielson to now Hangman, now to Ricochet. Like he makes it all like you want to see him get his ass kicked or kick someone's ass. I just think Will Ospreay. I mean, for WB, I'm gonna say Gunther as well. We can talk about character too. I think he's got a more believable character than Cody. Cody to me is I love him. I love Cody. I think he's just trying to be the John Cena. Like the kids love me. I'm gonna be super fan friendly. I'm gonna go out there, have matches, win. To me, Gunther, you go in there, it's like whoever faces him, he has to kick his ass or not to get destroyed, like or chopped to death or powerbomb to oblivion. And every time you see him, like whoever beats him is a made man. Like when Sami Zayn beat him at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental title, it elevated Sami. Whoever beats him for the World Heavyweight title is going to get another push. And I think that's what makes a Wrestler of the Year category. So Gunther, Walter, I think would be my WB one. I think I want to give an honorable mention to NXT. I want to give Trick Williams. I think he doesn't get a lot of love. So I want to give a quick shout out to Trick Williams. I think he's been killing it at NXT.
You know who else had a great year?
Who?
Nick Nemeth.
I don't know. I think
partial year. I would agree with like partial year.
Yeah, because I don't think he's done that long.
He had some, had that time off a little bit to, for non-competes and whatever.
Yeah, I'd say maybe like Zack Sabre Jr. honorable mention, but another honorable mention maybe from TNA if you want to do a TNA honorable mention. I think Mustafa Ali again, just because he had that hell of a year, or Josh Alexander, just being kind of like the MVP of TNA every year.
I always say, who's that guy with the headgear? I don't remember his name, but that guy with the headgear, he's really good.
He's a beast.
I wish I could remember his name more often because he's a great
Oh,
wrestler.
when you see him in a couple weeks show up at NXT with Ethan Page's Reunite in the North, you'll remember his name again.
Oh, there we go. North was a good tag team too.
That's what I want to see get back together is the North. So
That'd be a badass tag team.
well, I think we took up enough time today. I know we had a lot of categories, and so I actually trimmed 3 categories off this originally. But I'm glad you guys came.
We
on
do
with us.
apologize.
No.
We need the bias because we will just like go back.
Yeah,
and forth.
I wanted to get different perspectives like always because that's why I did the fan vote. We all kind of agree with the fans. We different. I like the conversation. It's better to have the differences. No, I meant like I apologize for taking everyone's time so much time this, but that's just how good I think wrestling was in 2024, and I can't wait to go on the cruise and see some matches of the year on the cruise with Oku and see who wins now there's a female Oceanic and a male Oceanic, see who we get 2 new champions, see the Learning Tree reunite with Enzo, unfortunately, but see, I wanted the Outrunners versus Jericho on the cruise. That's what I wanted. I wanted the Jericho.
I want Will Ospreay and Jericho, and I think this shirt's going to be Will Ospreay and Jericho too.
That'd be all right. Yeah, I don't really get the match because it doesn't really have that kind of flair, that flair and pizzazz that these other ones, the Orange Jericho and Jericho Hausen and Speedball Jericho.
Perfect. The Jericho Runners are done perfect.
That's what I mean. This one seems kind of, I don't know. It just seems different. It's just kind of, it doesn't have that pizzazz,
But there's a lot of good talent.
Oh, no. I'm never bitch about talent or nothing like that. But I'm just saying it just seems a little flatter than that those matches kind of have been the last couple of years.
Yeah,
maybe we get a Liger run in.
Well, and we still got our mystery partner or whatever, so maybe that'll be the one that ties it in.
It's definitely Enzo. Hit that hair.
Well, and I figured they were going to have to do something with him and Big Bill.
So I guess we can all get ready to go. SAWFT soft.
You can't teach that,
right? Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Jeff and Rachel, again for coming on the award show and keeping my ass from being biased and letting Emily be biased. No, I'm just kidding.
And thank you for coming on earlier. I definitely appreciate that.
Oh yeah, no problem at all. We appreciate you having us.
And to everyone watching, thank you so much. Make sure you tune in. If you agree with us, let us know. If you don't, let us know. I'll keep voting open until tomorrow just to see if anything else changes. But as of now, those are who your year-end awards are. And let's see what 2025 brings with Wrestle Dynasty and Wrestle Kingdom kicking off this weekend. So
yeah,
I'm ready.
Until next time, remember, everyone always keep the kayfabe.
Kayfabe.